Hey, you're watching Pilot Season. I'm your host and showrunner, Ryan Burkett. Pilot Season is presented to you by the Trident Network, a three-pronged entertainment company featuring shows streaming like this on Twitch, videos and web series you can watch places like YouTube, and podcasts of every single genre. Now, every episode of Pilot Season, we bring together a team of actors and a team of writers to create an original sitcom pilot live in real time, the way that it's always been done in history. Now, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for my friend and the creator of the Trident Network, Val Agnew. Val, are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm in your ear.
Val, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy we're back. How are you?
I'm good too. I'm always so happy to hear your voice in the sky, literally in the network. It brings me comfort and it makes me feel safe.
I'm so glad to hear
Um,
that. I'm always here in the wires just for you.
Val, anything upcoming from the Trident Network that we should keep an eye out for?
Always. We have next week on Twitch. I love improv. Well, actually, wait. On Sunday we have the Spark with C2. So that's a fun talk show, basically just about positivity and self reflection. It's really cool. That's at 2 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. And then on Monday, we have I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, who loves improv. And that'll be at 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific for those on the West Coast. Otherwise, we're now going to be next week about 4 episodes into our newest podcast, Anjali Vision, where she talks about all things TV. So very apropos for this show. She's great. It's great. Don't miss it.
And this is where I admit I've said this behind his back, but I Love Improv with Trent Dozier is a show that I've been calling Isle of Improv. And once you get it in your head, that's just how I hear it. And nobody told me I could call it that, and no one can stop me. Val, before we get into things tonight, I do feel like we should acknowledge that the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, is currently striking. That's an organization that professionally for a living does what I'll just say it, what we pretend to do here. We created this show because we love actors and writers and sitcoms, and zero of that is possible without the WGA, who just want their fair share of what they've been creating.
Mm-hmm.
Like they create 100% of a thing that is then distributed by someone else who owns it and doesn't give them any of it.
Yep.
And that's rude, and it's mean, and it's unfair, and it's un-American. And I stand with them, and I don't want to speak for anybody else, but we all stand for them.
We do. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna honor them tonight with our silliness.
We are, yeah. If we could touch one life, and then that one could touch one, and they told two friends, and they told two friends, we can make some progress on this. Having said that, Val, we've got a lot of dumb fun ahead of us. We're getting ready to meet this episode's teams.
Yes.
While we're doing that, if you would check in with our chat to get a suggestion. For this episode, our theme, we're continuing our current little arc of this meets that. It's like when you're pitching a show to a network, it's one show meets another. For example, last episode, our pitch was Golden Girls meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And so we had a show about old vampires called Long in the Tooth. So Val, if you could use that as your inspiration, get some of this meets that.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to mix and match from the chat as you see fit. And while you're doing that, we're going to meet our teams. Now, I just made a big statement respecting writers and the craft of writing and the job, the toil that the Union of Writers does. But here at Pilot Season, we meet the actors first. That's just how it is. this month we're joined for the second time by Trent Dozier. Trent, welcome back to pilot season.
Hi, Ryan.
How's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me back. Excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. Trent, in the world of sitcoms, who is your favorite sidekick? If you could be a main character on a sitcom and existing like best buddy, who would you pick?
I would say Buck, the dog on Married with Children. He just kind of gets to do whatever he wants for the entire run of that series.
Just run in at what is the opposite of the cold open? Like at the end of the show, just like a button.
Yeah.
Run in during the button and eat a cake off the table and just in and out. That's what could be better.
Yeah, exactly.
Also joining this episode for the first time, we have Will Jonas.
Hey,
Welcome to pilot season.
thank you so much for having me.
We'll start with a more general question that repeat guests have already answered. What's your favorite sitcom? It can be something that you've binged lately or like an all-time classic.
So for me, it would probably be like the most old man show of all time. It's probably Cheers. I personally just like discovered Cheers after like a terrible breakup, and I was like sitting in my studio apartment wrapped in blankets, and I was like, everyone here knows my name, and it was just like a warm, comforting show at a time when I really needed it, and like I just fell in love with it.
We've discussed before how beautiful the set of Cheers is.
Oh, it's perfect. Like anytime they cut away to like a new person's like apartment, I'm like, no, take me back to Cheers.
Back, yeah. And Will, we may have led into this answer already. If you could work any sitcom job, like inside the world of a sitcom, you could work anywhere, what would you pick?
And like I have to do the job. I can't just like be at the workplace.
You have to do the job.
Because like my gut reaction is like work at the power plant with Homer Simpson, because like he seems to have it pretty easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like I could probably do pretty well in the Parks and Rec crew. I feel like, like a really cushy government job where like there's not a whole lot of responsibility. I feel like that's something I could probably handle.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Do you I feel like you would have to have just 1 degree more complicated of a name if you lived in the Parks and Rec world.
Like my name?
Yeah, the names in Pawnee are all so unique and memorable. You'd need like one more syllable.
Well, if it helps, my legal first name is Wendlin Jonas. So, well, that's my full name, but
that's that's a Parks and Rec character.
Yeah, that works.
And
I'm like the guy who's like a skunk killer or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then joining us again, but for the first time on the acting team, we have Jaclyn Sorci.
Hello. Thank you.
Jaclyn, thank you for joining us and for crossing that boundary. Being we have 2 pioneers this episode, and you're one of them. Jaclyn, if you could live in any sitcom house, it could be one of the apartments, a house, anywhere that sitcom characters live, who would you pick?
I think I would pick Rachel and Monica's apartment in New York. It's cozy, it's roomy, it's totally unrealistic, but it's lovely.
What do you think about the location of the bathroom in their apartment?
Yeah, that's true. It's like behind the kitchen, right?
Behind the kitchen. And
Yeah.
they have those weird like parallel corner bedrooms.
Yeah.
And you would think that maybe the bathroom's in between those. I feel like
No.
like that, everybody has to walk through a bedroom to go to a bathroom.
Right. I think I would want the bedroom on the other side because I wouldn't want it sharing a wall with the bathroom, probably.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. And then also because it's a sitcom, you have like funny crosses that you can do back and forth.
Right. Doing bits on the way. Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. All right. So now it's time to meet our writers. Counterpart to Jaclyn, Maggie Dempsey-Pinkawa. You've been here before acting, and now you've joined the writer's room. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm stoked.
Maggie, I think maybe you've been on this show more than anyone else so far. We've discussed a lot of things about sitcoms, but I don't think I've ever asked you, who is your favorite sitcom character?
Okay, I panic and I do a lot of thinking before I come and talk to you about this, and I think I'm gonna fuck it up each time, and each time I'm right. But today I feel confident. I'm going to go with David Rose from Schitt's Creek. I think that he is the everyman somehow. Like, I think we all have like sad sack who's never had a good relationship in their life, and like everyone's parents are super embarrassing. Everyone's just trying to get through. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go with David Rose from Schitt's Creek.
That's a great answer. That Schitt's Creek is one of those shows it's still so fresh, but because it's a show that just ended, it doesn't get mentioned on here very much, and it was great.
Yeah.
If anybody's watched Somebody Somewhere on HBO, it's a much more grounded and realistic show than Schitt's Creek, but just in terms of like hanging out with good people for 27 minutes, you really can't do better right now, I think. Joining us again in the writer's room, we have Jamie Patton. Jamie, welcome back.
Hello, thank you for having me back.
Jamie, if you could bring back any former sitcom, a show that's ended, a show that's gotten canceled, one that's been lost to the web, which one would you bring back for one episode?
Oh, for one episode. There were talks a while back and that I would like to see where the characters are of Ugly Betty. Like I really liked that show that was on, and it got kind of, it was big first season and then kind of like trailed off, and they didn't really get to end it, I think, the way they wanted to. But there was a lot of great characters and like a great like little family on that show, like the Axe family and the Work family.
Right.
And kind of like to see, and also they're all, crazy fashion people. Like that would be fun. And in magazine publishing, like where did they go after the 2000s? Like what are they up to?
I love that. That's another show that was on much more recently than people realize. I feel like
it was like it against 30 Rock. That was the like competition kind of, that 30 Rock lost Emmys to Ugly Betty, I feel like. But
yeah, let's bring it back. And then joining us again for the second time, we have Ian Smith.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
I'm great. Thanks for coming back to pilot season.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Ian, if you could live in any sitcom town, which one would you pick?
Oh, sitcom town. I really do like Parks and Rec, and they do try with making the town nice. And that's just something I've never really had, so I think probably Pawnee. That'd be a lot of fun.
I hate to get into that cliche of like Pawnee is one of the characters.
Yeah.
But they really use the town, and they have lots of like town events. Like the town has a history, and they have lots of things that everybody does together.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
I know, that would just be so fun. Yeah.
And it's one of those shows where it's almost always day. It's almost always a sunny day in Pawnee.
Yeah, it's just perfect there every day. They know it.
Hey, Val.
Hey, Ryan.
Do we have any suggestions yet?
We have a lot of great suggestions.
All right. Do you want to like whittle it down to some of your faves? You have executive power here.
Well, I think I had a plan, and then it changed with the last suggestion. So some runners up are Gilligan's Island meets Star Trek. I know. Mork and Mindy meets Daria.
Oh.
oh,
Okay.
And a new suggestioner, YS Books, suggested Three's Company meets Friends. But the one that I think I'm going to take is the last one. And Minecraft, you can always be counted on for a great suggestion. MASH meets Seinfeld.
All right. So we need to discuss this. We need to break this down. Val, so we're going to go with MASH meets Seinfeld. Val, while we're discussing this, if you could also dip into the chat and see if we have a title. And again, feel free to pick and choose. This is your call. But see what we can come up with. So let's start a little bit. We'll just go sort of we'll brainstorm this, round robin this. Let's talk about like the qualities of each show. It's been a while since I've seen MASH, but MASH is probably the original like dramedy, because it's very funny and is a sitcom and has a laugh track, and then people are covered in blood. And then there would be episodes where there's like a reporter comes and there's like a newsreel or a documentary or something, and everything's very fraught. Everything's very scary. And then Seinfeld is, I don't want to say the first, but it's maybe the ultimate like hangout show, right? It's just
About nothing.
people in an apartment talking about, what is or isn't happening and who they do or do not know or where they want to work, getting stuff out of the fridge, like a sort of slice of life as like a 3 or 4 sitcom camera sitcom could be. Let's go around. We're going to start, we'll start with our actors again. And I want to know what characters we might see in this world. And feel free to do another like this meets that with people from those shows or an inspiration that you have for an original. I suspect we're people in wartime who are talking about something completely different. So let's start with Trent. Trent, any characters that you're inspired by this crossover, this and that meeting?
Well, all the characters I'm thinking of are Seinfeld characters because I've never watched MASH, but I am very aware of MASH. And so I'm just picturing like, a Newman type is their like superior officer who isn't always there, but when he comes around, everybody on the base is like, oh, Newman's here, or whatever. And then, obviously Kramer or George and Jerry and Elaine too, but like they all have a very specific style of like complaining about nothing. What is that? Oh, sorry. That was me. I was like, was that me? So just all of them kind of, I mean, the way I'm picturing it, which might not be how we do it, but it's like, it's essentially Seinfeld on an army base and going from there. But that's what I got. That's my first thoughts initially.
Amazing. Jaclyn, same question. Any characters that you're inspired by or any characters that you want to pull from either or with those shows?
Yeah. I definitely envisioning it a lot like Trent. I think being like very observational and complainy, but on an army base would be very funny. I could see us just kind of bitching about the accommodations, the blood and guts, maybe from being army doctors, dating, on the base or maybe off base, maybe dating the enemy, and just how that's going. I could see like an Elaine character having like a putty relationship, but maybe he's, I don't know, a civilian or something, and he comes to base once in a while. Maybe there's a sponge shortage on the base. Just kind of envisioning more of like a Seinfeld vibe, but in a MASH universe.
Yeah,
I love that. Will, same question. Any sparks of characters yet?
I mean, the one that immediately comes to mind is like, as everyone else said, like these are Seinfeld characters, but my understanding of MASH is that they're army doctors. So like I'm picturing like a George Costanza or like a Jerry character who like won't perform an operation on a character because like the bullet wound's in a spot that they don't want to touch. Like they have like a specific phobia to that area, or like they don't like the person who got shot and so they refuse to operate on them.
Yeah, the pettiness of the Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Writers, let's explore some situations. I'm going to start with Maggie. Maggie, any situation that you are inspired by that you've envisioned so far?
Sure. I love the idea of like, I think what both shows have in common is an ennui. So if we see these guys that are like bored, like pissed that lunch is the same while they're doing like trauma surgery or like triaging, like, oh, hey, like a bus full of new recruits just got blown up or whatever. Like the work a day that I think actually like lots of soldiers experience, like where you're like, tra-la-la, every day's traumatic. So like, what's for dinner is like a blast. But there's also the thing of like, I feel like MASH has lots of heart, like and like Seinfeld does not, in my opinion. So like that clash of like, how are we seeing? I don't know. I'm excited to see like how these people who enjoy complaining are doing in a situation that's super worthy of complaining about.
Yeah, and Maggie, give us an example of a location that we might see in this.
Sure. I was immediately picturing like, I feel like in MASH, like I'm picturing like there's like a triage tent or something like outside. I feel like where you always greet like, oh, the Jeep just pulled up and there's someone who's like, and like they're always like, right, like that's kind of where we meet a lot of new characters or people introduce new plots. So that like immediate like triage kind of like zone where there's like nurses and doctors bustling, but that's also where you get a lot of download about what's happening.
Amazing. Thank you. Jamie, same initial question. Any situations that you foresee for this that you think we should focus on?
I think like thinking of like Seinfeld characters and the military, just thinking of like rankings, and as you know, I just immediately am thinking of like a Kramer, like how this like Kramer would somehow keep advancing and you'd have no idea how, or something like that, just to me, or just how, you know, they're being petty about like, oh, you got, you know, this, you know, gonna advance to this rank or whatever like that. I just see a lot of like infighting or like, how did he advance? Like I did way more surgeries. Like, yeah, but he was, you know, that kind of thing, like being very petty about that.
Totally. Jamie, what time period are we set in? Are we in the present day? Are we in a real conflict or a fictional one in the past or the future? Or...
Let's go like Top Gun Maverick, like fictional, like we don't know where we are, but it's you know, just
yeah,
Eastern European country, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the more unknown it is, the more fun it is anyway.
I think so.
Ian, same starter question. Any situations that you're seeing for this?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like a mess hall would probably be a good place, just because it's, you know, kind of like the escape from the war and the whole doctoring kind of thing. But then with like Seinfeld characters, I could see like a lot of weird bickering going on at the same time.
And Ian, pretend that you're the network executive who greenlit this show. What kind of network are we on, and what kind of rating is this? Is it a show for adults? Is it a show with a laugh track, etc.?
Yeah, let's say it's like for adults, and kind of seems like it would be with a laugh track. I could probably see it being something on like Fox. So it's like a bit family friendly, but not like for the family, for kids kind of stuff.
Yeah. And as always, I do want to say the Trident Network has graciously agreed to pay several FCC fines in advance for this network sitcom. So any language that occurs between adults, have at it. Val, do we have a title for this insane hybrid of a show?
I think we do.
Okay.
I can't think of a better name than this. It's remarkable. Minecraft did it again. Petty Officer.
Oh, come on. We got to end that strike. Exactly what they need, and then we need to sign even more writers. Petty Officer. Are you kidding me? I thought Long in the Tooth was the best title I was ever going to hear.
Nope.
Officer. Do we just to a vote, do we want petty officer or petty officers, plural?
Hmm.
I think
I think
plural.
I
plural,
think
yeah,
plural works.
because
Yeah.
they're all
That's a
petty.
We're all
group.
petty, yeah.
Petty officers. That's beautiful. Just to clarify, I feel like everybody knows this. I hate to be this person to tell you a thing you already know. We're not actually using the characters from Seinfeld. We're just using those archetypes. So we want to stay away from those 4 names. 4 new names, or 10 new names, or whatever we come up with. We're getting ready to do our cold open of petty officers. This show delights me sometimes. I tell you, this is I don't lead with joy as much as I would like to, and this is truly setting me. Tomorrow, I'm setting a foot down with joy because of petty officers. I don't know who that person is that suggested that, but you have a place in heaven. All right,
Taking a religious stance, really.
yeah. So, actors, we're getting ready to do our cold open. It's the scene before the opening credits. It's in and out real quick. We're going to introduce a few characters, hit a punchline, and then Val's going to call it for our opening credits. Writers, we're ready in the chat to offer some punch up, to offer ways to tie MASH and Seinfeld together. Actors and writers, are you ready?
Yeah.
Val, do you feel ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do the cold open of petty officers.
Yeah. Monty, can you come over here and give me a hand with this patient?
Yeah.
It's just like it's a lot of guts. You know, I get kind of queasy
I'm
around
confused.
around
Are
the
we
guts.
taking them out or putting them back in?
Ideally, I would like to keep most of the guts exactly where they are, but
Okay.
remove the foreign objects.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
You know, why do people keep getting shot right before lunch?
You know,
That's what I'm
ideally,
saying.
they could do it right before bed. I don't have a problem going to sleep.
Oh,
when
bed's
I've
no
got blood
good
on my
either
hands.
because then I'm gonna have nightmares all night. I don't need to have nightmares about this all night.
Is there
Ugh.
supposed to be this much?
Let's see. Small intestine, large intestine. I don't know what that is. That can probably go.
I think it's a gallbladder.
That's like an appendix, right? You can get rid of the gallbladder.
It feels optional.
It feels optional. I agree.
If it feels optional, it's optional.
Oh. I'm just gonna reset this. It's up. It's up. That's fine. He'll be fine.
I think it's fine.
I think we sew him up because lunch is in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I
What are we
mean-
having?
Ugh.
Lasagna again.
It's always pasta when we're working with large intestines. It's
Ugh.
always the wavy pastas when we're working with the wavy organs.
Opening credits.
That was beautiful. Let's start with our writers this time. Maggie, we've been in some sort of like triage situation with a patient. Where's our next scene set for after the credits, Act 1 of this episode?
I feel like we don't want it to be like a narrative of the war because that's a drag. I think it should be like somewhere completely like they can be at the mess hall, but it's a different day. Like it's dinner or it's breakfast at the next day. Like I think that jumping around would actually serve better than like, hey, did that guy survive? Because we don't need to know. That's not what we're here for. So I'm going to say smash cut to a week later, a different meal.
I love that. So Jamie, we're a week later, different meal. Any situations or characters that we didn't see in our cold open that you think we should introduce?
I mean, that seemed like everybody kind of on the same level. I think maybe we need like a higher ranking, someone like a higher ranking doctor or something like that to interact with.
And then Ian, we need a line of dialogue, complete non sequitur, a line of dialogue that you would like to hear in Act 1.
Oh man. How about Jinkies, there's too much coming out.
Can you repeat that, please?
Jinkies, there's too much coming out.
Jinkies, there's too much coming out.
Yep.
Actors commit that to memory. And we expect to hear that in Act 1. Actors, real quick before we get going, I got a feel that we were seeing regular characters, like recurring characters in this show. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
So we're likely to see these guys again. We'll start with Jaclyn. Is there anything that you'd like us to establish as sort of like known lore about your character before we get into Act 1?
So I feel like she has been on a couple tours of duty. She's over it. Maybe she was supposed to go home after the last tour, but, got re-upped for some reason. And she's single. She's in her late 30s now. And she kind of feels like that ship has sailed maybe. And, her eggs are dying. So we'll see what happens.
She is on a sitcom.
Yeah, she is.
Will, same question. Any backstory that we want to bring into this?
I feel like my character tried to marry the daughter of a senator to avoid the draft, but like the marriage license didn't get approved until like one day too late. So he's got a real chip on his shoulder about the fact that he's here at all.
Trent, same question. Anything we should know before we get into Act 1 about your character?
I feel like my character hates being here, but he's the one who's like every third episode, he's like, I love you guys. I'm so happy to be here. Thankfully, this war brought us all together. Like he actually loves it. He's probably got like no family or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got the chosen family of this
of war.
He's in. Yeah. Ian, can we hear that line one more time?
Jinkies, there's too much coming out.
Jinkies, there's too much coming out.
Yeah.
All right. So actors, you have a pretty big assignment for Act 1. Writers, be at the ready at your keyboards to punch up and drive plot and send some twists out. Val, are you ready for Act 1 of Petty Officers?
I am, but I did want to just cut in real quick because I feel like they've earned it. Minecraft also has a line suggestion.
Okay.
Are you blunting my scalpels?
Blunting my... That's... If somebody's doing that...
Is it a figure of speech? Are they literally doing it? We'll find out.
Yeah, like, are you cramming my style? Yeah, I love that.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
Reveille comes earlier and earlier every day, I feel like.
Really does. I went and I saw that officer at the neighboring platoon again yesterday. It was really boring.
Did anybody do a pot? Coffee?
What? Oh,
Did anybody do a pot of coffee? There doesn't look like there's one. Should I do one?
Just do one.
Okay,
Yeah,
so no one did one? I mean, visually to me, it looks like no one has done one. But
Is the
I'll
pot
do it.
empty?
Do you see a pot of coffee?
Well, I'm about 5 feet away from it, and I got glasses, as we all know. But I would say, yeah, it's empty.
Craig, if
So
the
make a
pot's
pot.
empty, no one made a pot.
I'll make the pot. Should I make the pot?
Make the pot of coffee.
Okay.
So how did the date go with the officer? You said
Not great. Not great. The first
boring?
one was great. Conversation was flowing. It's his second tour, so he kind of gets it,
you've got that in common.
Yeah. But then, I don't know, last night it was like we were talking about his siblings. His sister has a 3-year-old. Okay. That was it.
Sisters?
Just going
He's
on and
got
on.
sisters?
Yeah.
How was the date?
You don't want to date a guy who has sisters. You want to date a guy who has brothers.
I don't know. I thought maybe he'd be in touch with the feminine.
Well, no, you don't want a guy who is too much in touch with his feminine. You want a guy who's got brothers that are doing better than him so that he aspires to catch up to them.
We'll see.
But
your
not
point.
too many brothers. If someone's got like more than 3 brothers, that's way too much family.
All right. Well, this guy just has one sister, so I guess I won't see him again.
I don't think
One
you can ever
sister.
have too much family.
One sister. One sister could work.
Craig, where's that coffee?
I put it on boiling. The pot's boiling or whatever it's doing. I don't know how coffee works. I'm making it.
You don't know how coffee works.
Well, I just know. I mean, I don't know the science behind it necessarily. I'm a medical doctor, not a scientist.
It's just
It's
coffee
coffee.
and water. You just heat the water. And
What kind of science? Wait a minute. You don't know the science behind coffee and you're a doctor?
Yeah, it's those 2 different sciences.
You pour hot water through a sock filled with beans, you get coffee.
There's
It's
also a
Mr.
lot of
Coffee,
ways to make
not
it. It's
Dr.
not
Coffee.
exactly complicated.
Okay, well, this is why I asked if there was a pot already on, because just so you guys know, this was my first time doing it. Usually when I show up, it's their coffee's out there, and I pretty much just drink it whether it's fresh or old, because was worried about a situation like this happening. But they didn't teach coffee to me in med school, so I don't know what I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
Scary, Craig, is I saw you holding a guy's intestines like an hour ago. That's what's scary about the fact that you don't know how coffee's made, but you literally sewed up a guy's guts like an hour ago.
I was taught how to do that in medical school. There was no boot camp for coffee.
Okay, well, we're all doctors. So
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like a big part of medical school is cramming for exams in which you are making coffee.
Thank you.
Red Bull.
Red Bull is scary. That makes my heart race. Scott,
You might as well be doing methamphetamines.
Agreed.
Well, if it gives you wings, it can't be that scary. Meth never gave me wings.
So you've done meth?
Well, who among us,
Me among us.
Me.
Her among us.
Oh, well, we've all, you know what? I think the coffee's probably, how long has it been?
Could you just get me a cup, black, please?
Are we actually going to drink this coffee?
Look, I'm so tired.
You want
was
the
out
cup
pretty
black,
late with
or
that
can I
guy.
get any color cup?
No, I just want the coffee black, like no creamer.
The fact that Monty made it through medical school at all is a modern marvel.
I don't know how they let him be here. There's no way he made it all the way through.
I mean, is his dad like a general or something?
Maybe.
Hey, Monty, standard issue mug for me, huh?
He
I mean,
seems to be working really hard at this.
it's like the one thing I've ever seen him be proud of.
This is either going to be amazing or awful.
He removed 37 shards of shrapnel from a man yesterday, and he was morose. But I have never seen him as happy as I have seen him right now, not knowing how to make coffee.
He's like a savant.
I mean, it's not for him. He should not have been drafted more. He should be standing behind a counter at Starbucks or something.
Yes, he missed his calling. I mean, he saves lives all day, but I personally can't stand the guy.
I mean, you get locked into this situation where it's like he's so good at what he does.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Monty!
Thank you.
Thank you.
I couldn't figure out how to carry all 3, so I got to go back and get mine. Keep talking.
Oh. No, it's difficult, Monty.
Oh my God.
This is the best goddamn cup of coffee I've ever had in
You
my
guys
entire
okay?
life.
Everything okay over there?
Yeah. Really good. Thank you. What did he do with this?
Is it possible that he took my advice and he filtered it through a sock? Because there's something, I don't know what it is, but like, Monty!
Hi. How
Hey.
did you make this? I would
It's just
sign up
like,
for
take your
another
time.
tour for this coffee. I'm telling you.
I just kind of did it,
Monty, guy to guy, what are you packing down there, huh?
You're talking penis size?
I mean, just to set a base, I just want to know, like, what are you bad at, huh?
What am I bad at?
Yeah.
Not much of a sports guy.
All right, so let me make this simpler. What are we talking, like venti, grande, tall? What are you working with here?
Well, standard issue size mug, I think, is about
Oh my God.
grande, maybe. I don't know. I usually get the frappuccinos when I go to Starbucks, and those just come standard size, big.
You leave room for cream?
Whipped, yeah.
Nice.
The best cup of coffee I've ever had, Monty. I have to give it to you. I really didn't think I was going to be good at all, and it's incredible. And honestly, you could. Oh crap!
What's up, bro, chachas? How's the coffee?
Sir?
Oh, we got another raid going on. You guys doing good?
Yeah, you want some coffee?
Nah, that's all right. I wake up and I'm fine.
Okay.
It's good to see you again. And your friend. I was just wondering, this weekend if we're gonna get off base.
Oh, I've made plans with a lot of people. It's gonna be hard to kind of like squeeze you into my schedule, but I think around 0400, 0500, I might have an opening. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I guess so. Just hoping for a firmer plan. Maybe you could think it through and get back to me, maybe.
Thinking it through is not really my thing. I got to take Ensign Chester for a Duke in the morning, so
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that. We'll just, I guess, yeah, we'll just play it by ear.
Can I just ask a question really quick? What
yeah,
time
what's
is
up,
that?
Monty?
What time is that? I haven't done the hundreds. I'm not sure about the hundreds yet.
0500?
Yeah.
No, that's 5 o'clock.
Do you guys think we should answer that?
Ooh, that's kind of like your guys' thing. I'm more of
Yeah.
like lead surgeon.
I got the last one, so.
All right, I'll go.
Monty,
What are we looking
Grande,
at?
what's up, buddy?
All right, this is really bad.
Doctor, thank
Has
you.
anyone seen his leg? Has anyone seen his leg?
No.
I've got a pile of legs over here, and I've got a pile of arms over here. I figure, as long as we've got.
I need a left leg, kind of Caucasian, I guess.
Okay. Do we
Brown
want like
leg
articulated
hair.
joints or like below the knee? What are we talking?
Was it this leg?
Monty, no, it's a dog's leg.
What?
That's clearly an animal's leg. We're looking for a man's Caucasian leg, his
Okay,
left
now-
leg.
Hold on a second. How do you know the difference between a man's leg and a woman's leg?
Because I'm looking at a man right now on my table.
No, but of course, you can tell the difference between the person on the table. I am saying, what is the biological difference between a man's leg and a woman's leg?
You know what? I'm just gonna cauterize the wound. He's not getting his leg back. Can someone get me a scalpel and a cup of coffee?
Okay.
Be careful which scalpel you choose. I think someone's been blunting all the scalpels.
What? Who
Have you been blunting my scalpels? Monty.
And now a word from our sponsors.
We answered the question. I just want to make note of this. We answered the question, can you mix Seinfeld and MASH? The answer is yes. We'll start with the actors this time. That was beautiful and exciting and gross and hilarious. We'll start with Jaclyn. Is there any relationship to you so far that stands out?
I feel like my character feels a little bit like she's definitely friends with the other two guys. It seems like they hang out all the time. I think maybe her and Monty have had some beef in the past, and she's just kind of over it in general.
Yeah. Any characters to come, or do you feel like in the spirit of Seinfeld, we're mainly sticking with this crew?
No, I would definitely like to see some. I mean, I think these are our kind of core folks, but I would definitely like to see some additional characters. I think I agree. I think Jamie said it. We need some rank, some different ranked folks, given that this is a military base. I think it would be fun to have some civilians as well. Maybe some of the patients are, waking up from their comas or surgeries and interacting with us or something.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All of the medical sort of doctor speak so far has been really fun in that none of us are doctors.
No.
It's been
clearly
what we're discovering.
Doing our best.
Trent, same questions. Any interactions or chemistry or relationships that stand out so far? And then who else would you like to introduce to us?
Well, they were already introduced verbally. I would like to see the guy that Jaclyn went on the date with show up on the base in some capacity at some point. Or anybody that Jaclyn's character went on a date with. And then in terms of like Monty, I think I agree with what Jaclyn was saying, that our characters probably like don't get along, but it seems like Will's character didn't like me either, and it seems like I don't know if anybody likes me, and I think it's not because he's like a bad guy or an a-hole, but he's more of like incompetent and stupid as displayed by the coffee.
But a brilliant surgeon.
Brilliant surgeon. He can do one thing and and does it well.
He's truly like the Kramer character.
Yeah.
Trent, don't let me influence your performance moving forward, but I do want to call out your little shuffles back and forth to the coffee. Really something.
I thought it would be easier, and then it took way long.
It's a little piece of magic, and I wouldn't mind if you have an excuse to. Are you on wheels? Were you?
I'm on wheels.
Okay, it looks a little bit like you were just sort of like waddling back.
It's wheels on carpet, so it wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be.
It was. Will, same question, and so far you're the actor who's played two characters. So any insight into either of them and what might be coming next?
So I mean, I just kind of wanted to take the suggestion from earlier of like having like a higher status character come in, and so like that just kind of read to me as like a bro-y doctor, but then it kind of ended up, if I was picking up on what Jaclyn was doing, like it kind of ended up being like the putty character that like she kind of has like a begrudging relationship with. So I don't know, from him I'd like to see like kind of like a downfall of some kind. But then from whatever my main character's name might be, I think just like I like the Costanza archetype of just like kind of like Sisyphus, just like constantly pushing the boulder up the hill, but he's never getting anywhere.
Yeah. A thing about your high status characters are often just the person who feels that way.
For
sure.
They anoint themselves that. Let's check in with our writers. Maggie, two questions. Initially, what do you see happening next, big or small, in Act 2? And also, where else physically are we going? Do you have another location in mind?
Sure. I feel like something that's fun and happens in lots of military shows is like there's a new sheriff in town, so there's like a change of command over them, and someone's going to come in and try to put their fingerprint on the way things run around here. And again, watching these like schmucks who don't want to be there either go along or resist that is going to be a blast. I think another fun place to go would be, I think there's a lot of like PT gym working out stuff that you would be expected to do if you're like deployed. So like seeing these people like work out next to each other pretty much by force, because you would be. I mean, they might like it. I don't know. But like seeing these guys work out for their jobs near each other would kind of be fun.
Amazing. Yeah. Ian, I have a couple questions for you. One, the same as Maggie. What would you like to see next, plot wise in this story?
I think it'd be good, yeah, like kind of what you were saying before, about her going on like a second date or something. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see like off-base local restaurant, something like that, where there's an emergency, and so she and the date have to go back to the base for some kind of surgery.
That's also a great example of how to balance the two genres that we're mixing.
Mm.
The mundane and the like trauma.
Yeah.
Ian, I do have a question. Did you hear your line of dialogue in Act One?
I was listening for Jinkies. I didn't.
Okay. I think you should keep listening for it because it's going to roll over into
All right.
Act Two.
It better.
Everybody, please keep Jinkies in your head for Ian. And it's doubly important because Jamie, do you have a line of dialogue that you would like to hear in Act Two of Petty Officers?
I just want a better standard of gauze.
Could you say that again?
I just want a better standard of gauze.
I just want a better standard of gauze. Okay, so make a note of that as well. And Jamie, anything plot-wise that you'd like to see in our middle act?
Not sure plot-wise. I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything about the date, the trying to, you know, have like a normal life along with all this chaos. Yeah. I think also seeing somewhere like barracks or something like that, like imagining these people having to share living space too. Like it's not just work, it's also you are around these people all the time. Something to think about.
Anybody who's ever watched MASH, their showers are the weirdest shared space, like little like camp pods that they shower in, little stalls that go like to the waist. It's not for everybody. So writers, we know what we need to do to power this forward in Act Two. Actors, you have the big assignment of 2 lines of dialogue, characters to build, 2 different genres to mix. Does everybody feel ready? All right, Val, it sounds like we're ready for Act Two of Petty Officers.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I mean, I know it's early, but thank you so much for agreeing to come out with me. I mean, right before the sun rises, I do think that's like the most romantic time of day.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, we can get off base, it's just nice to be somewhere else. And, IHOP was open, so.
Oh, and the crazy thing about IHOP is they don't even care if I bring Ensign Chester. So like he's back in the kitchen somewhere right now, probably slurping up some sausage links, Chester.
Doesn't sound sanitary.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
that's the beauty of IHOP, huh?
you kids gonna need anything else to wrap up your meals? Anything? Need any boxes or anything?
I actually I have barely touched my food, and you can eat so many waffles if you really set your mind to it. So I think I'm gonna keep working on it.
Go ahead. Yeah. No,
Some
I
more
mean no rush.
coffee for me, please.
More coffee for you.
Thank you.
No,
I'll be right
I had
back.
the best coffee in the world yesterday, so I'm all set.
Yeah, great. So do you have any brothers?
Brothers? Yeah, I've actually got like 4 older brothers.
Whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of boys in the house.
Yeah, really, it created a very chaotic vibe, one of them is like a state senator now. Another one is like a CEO of a company. Oh, you know what? Chester actually comes from a litter of 4 older brothers as well. So me and him, we're kind of like twins. It's crazy.
That's great. That's great. So no ladies in those households, huh?
No. Both of our moms died in childbirth, so me and Chester were kind of like half orphans,
That's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. You seem so lighthearted about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you don't really know anyone, it's kind of hard to feel bad about missing them, you know?
I guess so. I just think it'd be hard to, be raised in a household with just a bunch of boys and men.
Yeah, I mean, I was like kicked in the head a lot as a kid and kind of like spit on and like thrown into a pool with duct tape on my hands and like told
My
you have to
God.
get out, otherwise you're gonna drown. Just like
Wow.
dude stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, that sounds like men.
Oh, it's awesome. If you haven't done it before, highly recommend.
I think I've been through enough. This is my second tour. You know what I mean? I've been through it all. I've seen it all. I've sewn on every kind of limb. I've treated every kind of BD.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, well, it definitely got me ready for the army.
Yeah, I guess I just was looking for something soft for a change.
Very cool. Very nice. Yeah. What's your favorite limb to sew on?
I guess left arm, because
Oh.
I'm right-handed, so it's kind of like easier, I guess, just from an angles perspective.
You know what I like to do sometimes as a goof? I like to put the arms on backwards and just like that moment when they recover from the anesthesia and they're like, I think my thumbs are on the wrong side. It's freaking hilarious, dude.
Hilarious. Okay. Well, this has been so fun. But I think we should probably get back before
Yeah.
the bugle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hey, here comes Ensign Chester. Whoa, Jinkies, that is way too much coming out of him.
Oh, God. Gentlemen.
Yeah.
These barracks are disgusting.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm a doctor. I'm not a barracks cleaner.
And I'm a general, and you'll have them cleaned by this evening.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll have him cleaned by this evening. Yeah. What do you say?
What are you doing,
Folding?
Lieutenant?
Sorry, I was just trying to get a
Did
jump
I
on it.
tell you that you could relax? No. I said you would get it cleaned by this evening. I'm still in your presence, and I'm still your general.
Oh, okay, but you want us to get it cleaned by this evening, but we can't start until you leave. So we're losing valuable cleaning time when you're talking to us. You see that, right?
Look, this kind of insubordination is unacceptable. There's no place for sarcasm at war.
Clearly, you've never been inside the mess hall.
Excuse me.
That was sarcasm. Yeah, no, that was poorly timed.
Sorry.
I'll be taking your sponges because now you're going to use your toothbrush.
It's at the risk of getting us in even more trouble. I would just like to point out you are still making our jobs increasingly more difficult with an ever-approaching
I'm not
deadline.
here to make your job easy, Lieutenant. Now drop and give me 20.
Scrubs, push-ups, 20.
Push-ups.
Okay, yeah.
Teaching life lessons here.
Is that for everybody or is that just for
No,
him?
Monty, it's not for everybody.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah.
Ew.
I apologize again on behalf of everybody. They didn't technically we didn't learn how to clean barracks in med school. It was mostly just like doctor stuff.
Not difficult to clean. You can be a doctor. You can clean a barracks.
Are we
I
counting
know,
up and down as one each, or is it 20 up and down?
Full push-up, not the kind with your knees down. The full thing. Who sent me these people?
General, would you like a cup of coffee? I'm amazing at it, apparently.
You know what? I would like a cup of coffee. Yes.
Give me
Six. Long night.
like a full minute.
7, 8.
You're pathetic. How did you get through basic?
Huh?
How did you get through basic training if you can't even do 20 push-ups?
No, I did 20 push-ups. You didn't hear me counting?
They were pathetic.
Well, I mean, I got all 20 though. That's fine.
I'm waiting for
That's for
that
your
cup.
information. I tested out of basic.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, General. And anything for our general.
Oh my god. That is spectacular.
Thank you.
Spectacular enough for us to get our sponges back?
No.
Oh,
Understood. Spectacular enough for maybe one of us to get our sponges back.
All right. But just you.
so him, not.
Just him.
Okay. Yep. Thought maybe, it was going to be a luck of the draw type of situation.
Well, I'm going to leave you two at ease. But if I come back this evening and these barracks are not perfectly clean, I mean, I could eat off the floors. There's more where this came from.
Okay, Monty. You've got the sponge, so I feel like you kind of take point with the whole cleaning thing. I'll kind of supervise. That sound fair?
I mean, yeah, again, nobody taught me how to clean the barrack. So if you know, I'll just follow your guidance for sure. I need guidance is what I need.
I have a feeling, just a shot in the dark, you're probably going to be amazing at it.
Okay. Should maybe we just try to eat something off the floor first, see how it is, see how much effort we're going to have to put into it?
You mean to set a standard?
Yeah, if we eat something off the floor and it's not that bad, then we're like, oh, this is only going to be 20 minutes of cleaning maybe. But if we eat something off the floor, one of us gets poisoned or something, then we're we're going to need all night,
Okay, so your plan is we only need to make the floor a percentage better than it currently is.
Right, but we don't know what the percentage is yet.
I can work with that. Why don't you eat something off the floor now? I'll eat the thing off the floor later.
Okay, I think I'm just going to probably pour a bunch of coffee on the floor and then I'll try and drink that, see how I feel in 10 minutes.
Monty, why wouldn't you go with a solid? You're gonna sip coffee off the floor?
Well, it's just the most recent thing I've had inside of me, and I know that it's good, and so I know the level it needs to be. So if it's a little bit below that level, I'll know. And my coffee's so good that it might still taste great on the floor.
You don't want to have an amuse-bouche palate cleanser first? You're just gonna go from your memory of how good your coffee was the last time you sipped it to off the floor?
Yeah.
All right. I can't argue with your scientific method.
Hey, that's I'm not a scientist. I'm a medical doctor. So if that's what you say,
Well, I'm going to be over here and I'm going to keep an eye out in case the general comes back. And you let me know when the coffee tastes as good as it did this morning.
Guys, are you my new roommates? I'm a new recruit.
And now a word
you're...
from our sponsors.
Welcome back. We really we're hitting some Seinfeld notes that are really making me happy. There were so many shows that Seinfeld influenced that were awful. And I feel like you guys are really tapping, you're playing a note that is new, but is also from that world. I just wanted to say that. On that note, I'm going to start with the writers. Maggie, we'll start with you. In the balance of this meets that, is there anything that you'd like to see skewed more one side or the other in Act 3? Hey, Maggie.
You're muted.
What? Okay. I think something that I'm so sorry. I think something that both shows have that we could talk about more is longing. I think both MASH and Seinfeld are longing to be anywhere other than what they are. MASH, they want to be home with their families, and Seinfeld just not in their current lives. So turning up that we're in this fucking thing and we don't want to be here, but we are. They're both very, very present and yearning for something else. Turn up the yearning, I feel would give us flavors of both.
Yeah.
I love that. Jamie, same question. Anything from either side or both of our combo that you'd like to see more of?
Well, I think with that the new recruit character, I think that's gonna address what Maggie's talking about, because now, you know, the new recruit seems very, very excited versus the people who are there, you know, now it makes them feel they're longing more, makes them feel like, don't make this sound better than it is, you know? Also that character, just the excitement makes me like thinking of MASH. It's very Radar to me, like the young, like character who's still like excited about it. It's like, we're at war, calm down.
I bet Radar could make a great cup of coffee.
Monty is very Radar.
Ian, same question. In the balance of Seinfeld and MASH, is there anything that you'd like to see more of from one side or the other, or something that's missing?
Yeah, I mean, something I always really liked with Seinfeld was just like the standoff between Seinfeld and Newman. So I really want something like that, especially, you know, if like the Newman guy was supposed to be like the highest ranking one. I think that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. And let's look to our actors. Jaclyn, thinking about Act 3 of our episode, things that we need to wrap up, but also sparking things that might happen later in the season. Is there anything in your character that you'd like to wrap up here, or even some like wants or needs or plots that you want to tease?
Yeah, I think I don't think she's going to get what she wants. Not now, not maybe ever in this show. I think that's kind of the point, is she's always wanting what Maggie said, you know, that yearning. I do think she's going to break it off with, you know, her date, and maybe she'll meet someone new, maybe a new recruit. I don't know. See where it goes. And then I think the general is just, you know, she's going to keep ruling with an iron fist, and she's going to become a source of fear for the season.
She was a real spark of like intimidation and plot and character, and that was wild. I loved her. Will, same question. What do you see for your characters to wrap up this episode, but also springing into the rest of the season?
I think the overarching sort of narrative for my main character is he only wants to be better or like more respected than Monty, and he's learning slowly that that's eluding him. And so I think that's just like an increasing source of frustration for him. And I think like sort of a tease into the future of the season would just be like, maybe he has a moment where he's like trying to kick it into high gear, but you know, see how that goes.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, we heard both lines of dialogue. Am I correct?
We didn't.
I don't think we got the gauze
We
line.
haven't heard Jamie's. Do you mind repeating that, Jamie?
I just want a better standard of gauze.
That's right. I just want a better standard of gauze. So I'm going to keep that in mind. And then also, Maggie, do you have another line of dialogue that you would love to hear in Act 3 of Petty Officers?
There's no place like home.
A better standard of gauze. There's no place like home. Actors and writers, think about this episode as closing a loop, but it's not the end of the story. We have episode 2 through 18. We have season 1 through 9. Reunion show a decade later. A movie. Sky's the limit. We have to focus. We have to make this happen. It's Act 3 of Petty Officers. Val, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Can I put my stuff here?
Yeah, sure. Put it wherever you see an open bunk. It's fine.
Well,
Okay.
maybe we should. Shouldn't we maybe make sure everything's clean first before we're just on the new guy?
I'm sorry, are you guys cleaning?
Yeah, we're just doing a little. Me and my best friend are doing a type of best friend cleaning situation here.
I was hoping I could find a best friend, but you guys already have best friends, and it's each other.
Yes,
no, we're,
that's a
we're
problem
best
then for
friends.
you, because we are best friends. We just, doing best friend stuff, cleaning the barracks, eating food off the floor, things like that,
Yeah, no, but it's great. You just traipse your muddy boots all over our newly cleaned barracks floor, and
So,
we'll just
I'm
clean that up.
sorry. I'm sorry it's raining outside. I couldn't help it. And also, I was homeschooled, so I don't know how to act anywhere.
You were homeschooled?
I didn't know they
Yeah.
let homeschooled kids into the army.
Oh, they'll take anybody. They said they needed the bodies.
Well, that's true. We do need more people.
My
So,
mom thought that the school would teach us about the devil.
as in, like,
she was
pro or con?
Well, she's a con on the devil, but she was worried that, that they would teach us that the devil was good. But instead, I went to medical school.
yeah.
At
Same.
home,
Oh my
of
God,
course.
me too.
You went to homeschool medical school?
Well, I went to like a public medical school.
Oh,
Am I the only person here who went to an Ivy League college?
oh, your best friend's a little bit of a nerd.
Yeah, he is. You gotta admit you are a bit of a nerd. That's a good one.
Wait
And
a
I don't
second.
mean to brag, but I might be taking your best friend.
Whoa, okay. People are fighting over me now.
What is happening? You walk in here 30 seconds ago, and now all of a sudden you're stealing the one link back home that I have?
Sorry.
I swear, God, all I want is for people to respect me for being a good surgeon. But I can't get that. I can't even make friends with the other doofuses here. All that I am asking for is a higher quality of gauze, and instead I am working with Band-Aids.
Okay, no need to call anybody doofus, okay?
Yeah,
Watch
come
your step,
on.
or I'm gonna start cleaning with the new best friend.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Go ahead. Clean with him. I don't care. Clean with Swiss Army Man over here. It's fine. I
Oh,
am just going to keep lookout, and I'm just going to close my ears to this.
Swiss Army Man, do you have a name?
yeah, excuse me. My name is Rick, obviously.
Rick, nice to meet you. My name is Monty, and my curmudgeon-y friend here, his name is Blip.
All right. Well, hello.
I
prefer
told you
Dr.
that
Rick,
Blip
if
was
I'm
my
honest.
nickname in confidence.
Oh, but I thought we were best friends, so I could just kind of toss Blip around anytime I wanted to.
We were best friends, Monty. We were.
This doesn't...
Blip's privileges are provoked. Blip's
It's just-
privileges are revoked.
Look,
Dang it.
Monty, I got plenty of cleaning songs, so let's do this.
Okay.
I
Can I
like
make a
Smash
suggestion?
cleaning montage. Oh no, lots of scenes of cleaning. They're having so much fun. Here we go. Oh, it's a Windex egg. Look at their faces. Oh my God. Now they're scrubbing the floor and they meet with their toothbrushes on a little seam in the tile. Who's on the other side of windows? They're cleaning and the montage is done.
did this. And what is this?
Oh,
Hey, I'm Dr. Rick. I'm new. I got here just about an hour ago, and I have a best friend now, which is this guy here. And
Dr. Monty.
this guy's got a weird name, and he's kind of mean to me. I will
Yes.
hand it to you. It's quite clean in here. Let me get my glove on.
Monty, she's doing the black glove test. That means she's testing for asbestos. Did you guys clean the ceilings?
I think we must have. Dr. Rick said he never cleaned at home, but the only thing he knew how to do properly was asbestos stuff because they had asbestos in his ceiling back home, and it killed both his parents.
As long as you both did as best as you could.
Just going back to the lab. I'll have the results shortly. Carry
Okay.
on. Wow, she's pretty mean.
Yeah. We call her behind her back, not to her face, but behind her back we call her Doctor or a General Mean.
Monty made that nickname.
Yeah, you could probably tell I'm kind of the ringleader of the group. So.
I mean, that's awesome. I think she could use a best friend.
Oh my God.
Well, what? Because you guys are already best friends. What does that mean? I have to be the general's new best friend?
No, I mean there's
I mean,
a lot of
it's up
people
to
on
you,
the
buddy,
base.
but
Yeah.
I think you're kind of crowding this thing we've got going on, if I'm honest.
What? I mean, it would never work between me and her. Okay, she's too much like my wife. Okay, my wife back home is exactly like General Mean.
Wow, you got a wife?
Yeah, I have a wife, a poorly timed wife, if I might add.
Whoa, does she know you feel like that?
Well, probably not. As soon as the arrangement was signed, I got shipped off to here.
You got any kids?
No, I don't have any. When would I have had time to consummate the marriage?
Yeah, the wife's real. I've seen a picture though. She's not imaginary, unless.
Wow.
Why would you even bring that up? Why would you even bring up that my wife could be imaginary?
Well, I'm saying she's not. I'm saying there's no way she's imaginary. I've seen a picture of you two together.
Thanks. You're a big
Oh,
help,
is
mommy.
is that the picture over here? Wow, she looks a lot like Cindy Crawford from the 1990s.
let's just not pay attention to the photo of my wife, who is real, and the fact that we don't have children shouldn't matter at all. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have time to raise a litter right now. Okay.
Oh,
Just stop asking questions about my personal business.
your wife really likes Pepsi. I see that. Look at that in the photo.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that the half of the photo that Dr. Blip is on is a picture, but the half that his wife is on is hand drawn clearly. But it's drawn very well.
She has a very
well.
busy schedule. Okay. We had to take 2 separate pictures.
Hey, I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just
Me
saying
either,
that,
me either.
you know, I've never met a woman other than like here, basically, and my mom, who was also my medical professor and my K through 12 teacher and my undergraduate teacher.
That's inspiring.
Yeah, she's an incredible woman.
You guys, you have it a lot easier than you even know. All right. It seems like both of you were raised with absolutely no expectations about what would happen. But me, I had a standard that I had to live up to. Okay. And then when I married into her family, do you think I live living under the thumb of Senator Burkett? Okay. No, I don't.
All right, well, nobody's telling you how to live, I guess. Just
No.
making assessments. I guess I'm new here, so.
Yeah. And I was raised differently than you for sure. I had no brothers, so it's not whatever.
Well, you know what? We're medical doctors. So how about we stop with all the psychoanalyzing, all right? Leave my personal life alone and let's just get back to it.
All I wanted was a best friend, and I got it. So I'm living large.
Yeah, and
Good
at
news.
this point, I got 2 best friends, so I'm kind of king of the castle.
What's going on in here? I came in to tell you that the asbestos test is negative. So well done. But I'm telling you, if I come in here and it's a disgusting pit again, or if I even smell a hint of any kind of toxic chemical fume or dust, there'll be hell to pay. Goodbye.
Understood.
You know, now that you guys mention it, I see it. She's a lot like my wife. There really is no place like home, huh?
Mhm.
Right. Look, I just think that we're not right for each other, you know? And you've been great, and the dog is really cute. But honestly, I don't see us that way.
Don't see us what way?
Just romantic and moving forward, and really with a relationship at all.
Oh, okay. Well, like, we don't have to have like a relationship. Like, we can keep it cash. I mean, it's a pretty big base.
No, because honestly, when we hooked up, it was bad. And I'm just not gonna waste any more time on this. So,
Well, you know, like bad's kind of like comparative though, right? I mean, like,
no, you cried a lot, and
You guys done here? Seems like you might be wrapping up since you're telling
Yeah.
him how he cried. When
can
you
I
hooked up.
actually get another grand slam for the table?
no, we're actually all set. He'll take that to go.
2 checks? I'm assuming.
I was hoping you were gonna take this one because like I got the last one.
Just here, put it on my card.
I'll run this. I'll be right back.
Anyway, you seem batshit, to be honest. And honestly, I thought maybe having one brother would be nice. You'd have someone to look up to, but you have 4, and the dog has 4, and your mom died. And to be honest, I don't think you've ever really spoken to a woman who you didn't want to conquer.
Well, yeah, why else would I talk to them?
You're making my point. You're not what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm looking for a partner and someone to go home with and settle down with when this is all over, if we make it out.
What did I tell you about brothers, huh? He had too many brothers. I knew that was bad
So
news from
many
the start.
brothers. The dog had so many brothers. He was humping my leg.
The guy or the dog?
Ugh, both.
Have you ever thought about maybe drawing a sexual partner?
Drawing?
Yeah, that's what Blip did.
I didn't draw my wife.
Is that
Well,
what that
she's
picture
drawn
is?
in the.
I drew me on the No, they're two separate pictures that we had put together because of our busy schedules.
Okay, that doesn't...
She's drawn in the picture is what I'm saying. I'm not
That's
saying
what it
she's
looks like.
imaginary. I'm saying she is drawn.
My wife has been stunning for decades.
Isn't she like in her 50s now? That doesn't even make sense.
The diet
Stunning in
Pepsi
your
keeps her
50s.
fit.
You know what? Age is just a number. Who am I to say? I don't have anyone, and I may never have anyone, so I can't judge your imaginary wife.
Well, don't shut down all avenues just yet. I'd like to introduce you to our new barracks mate, Dr. Rick.
Oh, okay. Hi.
And
Are you kidding? You're introducing me to this guy? What is his deal? He looks like he has rosy cheeks. What kind of grown man has rosy cheeks?
He's like homeschooled from Holland or something. We don't know.
No, not Holland. I'm from the US of A. I don't know where, though. They wouldn't tell me where the city was because then I could escape. Seriously.
credits.
That's the first
Yay.
episode of so many of Petty Officers. What a fantastic show. I'm so excited about this. I always ask this question of the teams. It is a little harder with this particular theme. Does Petty Officers remind you of any other shows?
Two come to mind.
Okay.
MASH and Seinfeld.
Oh,
It honestly, though, it did feel very... I know it's like, duh, that's what we talked about at the beginning, but it literally did feel like Seinfeld just in a different location. Like it was just them, doing nothing. And like you said, Ryan, Seinfeld influenced a lot of shows that tried to do Seinfeld type stuff and just were not as good as the original article. But luckily the six of us were, so,
Yeah, I think maybe those like copycat shows just really needed to take a big swing with their setting.
Yeah.
Like those shows were all just in New York in apartments again. And
Yeah.
they needed to really like go high concept with the surrounding factors.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go around real quick. I'm going to start with the writers. How do you think season 1 of Petty Officers ends? We'll start with Ian. And this is assuming that there is a season 2.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Napalm Strike.
Mhm.
Huh.
Although,
You're a cliffhanger.
dark.
I don't know. Yeah, I really want to see more with like the guy's drawn wife. I just want that to be like a thing full time. Like keeps going. Like they keep trying to like meet her or something or like video chat, get correspondence, and there's nothing. It's like obviously him. That's something I want to see.
I do love that sitcom trope of the wife we never meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this takes that up a notch into that. Maybe she just doesn't even exist. Maggie, same question. How do you see season 1 of Petty Officers ending?
so I'm worried. Okay, so I feel like what we need to see is the 3 main doctors. I think one of them gets injured and promoted. I don't know who, but someone gets like a Purple Heart and comes back to be like the next rank up to be like higher than the other 2, and the other 2 were like enraged about it. It's got to be the who's our dingus who brings great coffee? I forgot his
Monty.
character.
Yeah.
Monty. It's got to be Monty. Like Monty like takes a bullet for them and like comes back with like a fucking eye patch and is their leader, and like just watching that be even more juicy and heightened would be scrumptious.
The worst thing that could happen to this group of friends is one of them is a hero.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Jamie, same question. A cliffhanger for season 1, or even how you see season 2 starting.
I think maybe, I think Monty has to be the one who gets promoted. And then I think maybe Will's character does try to befriend the general. Like he's like, well, now I need to, advance. So, and trying to become friends with the general, mentioning, oh, you're so much like my wife, like that, trying to ingratiate himself to move ahead. But it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, totally. Actors, same question. Feel free to speak long term within like 10 seasons. Where do you see like your main character, things they may get into? Feel free to use Seinfeld as a reference more than MASH, because we'd like these characters to live. We'll start with Jaclyn.
So I would love to see Dr. Rick, like, I kind of view him like a Kenneth DePage from 30 Rock, where he's like secretly going to like rise and become like CEO, or, so he's going to secretly maybe become the general or have some authority as well, which would be silly. I think our main three, like, they're just living that slice of life. So there's definitely going to be some tribulations with Monty's new rank and changing, new characters and things like that, dating. But I think at the end of the day, they always kind of come back to that same baseline, like in the way of Seinfeld.
Will, same question.
Yeah, I think in the vein of Seinfeld, I feel like maybe my character is very much the Costanza who, like, everyone else goes through like these like big changes and like they still like stay together as like a core group, but like he's the only one who makes like absolutely no personal advancements. And like someone else said, like he tries to like schmooze up to the general at some point and like marry her to like just try and increase his station, but like gets shot down there, or like the general gets like killed or something like that, so like it ruins his chances of advancement. But I do like the idea that Monty gets injured and comes back like in a very Kramer way with like a scalpel for a finger or something. Like he's absolutely genius at using it.
Yeah. And finally, Trent, where do you see your guy moving forward? End of this season, end of season 5, end of season 20.
It felt. I know that this was supposed to be the pilot episode, but what we did honestly felt like middle of the season to me. It felt, and maybe because we were already kind of like pulling from Seinfeld loosely, like we already knew I'm just thinking of the cold open specifically. There was no like, we're not establishing anything. It was like already felt super lived in. So to me, like the Dr. Rick character felt like it felt to me like there have been multiple Dr. Ricks already, and there will be more in the future. And all of these like Dr. Rick archetypes come in and kind of even the playing field for Monty. And then something like, I really like Jaclyn saying that Dr. Rick would keep getting promoted. I feel like he gets promoted like out of the show basically, and then Monty gets reset back to 0. And then I like the idea of like season 1 ends with him finally, like season 2 premieres with him with the scalpel finger or whatever, and like he finally is sitting above Will's character and Jaclyn's character, the core 3. But I'm sure something will knock him back down.
Yeah, I love that. Has a real like Buster Bluth quality as well.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
So we're very close to the end. We have just a little bit more housekeeping to do. I do want to thank the Trident Network for hosting this show. We operate and produce this show on a very generous grant from the Trident Network. So Val, thank you for that. I always want to congratulate Val on Trident's 2nd anniversary, which happened in March. It still feels fresh, and I think it's great that just continuing on to year 3. Everybody support the WGA. If you have friends that are writers, friends of friends, stand with them. They deserve a fair cut. They deserve their share. And then everybody here deserves to be staffed and hired too, and get your fair share someday as well. But we are missing one thing from our show this week, and that is that I think a great sitcom has a theme. And so while we're exiting tonight, actors and writers can join in. Let's hear an improvised version of what the theme song to Petty Officers might be. And everybody in your Twitch frame, feel free to do your best opening credits poses as we say goodnight.
Well, war is hell, but so is love, because they're the petty officers.
Perfect.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.